I've been a bishop for 26 years, a priest for more than 40 years, and this is the most interesting colloquium I've been to in my life. And I'm grateful for that opportunity. Really, it's been very, very interesting. So I'm very grateful to Cardinal Mueller, to Archbishop Ladaria for allowing me a few moments on the agenda. My purpose is very different from the rest of you who've spoken. You've been inspiring and informative. I'm simply here to talk about a program in Philadelphia in September of 2015. So that's what my presentation's about. It's the 8th World Meeting of Families. As the Archbishop said, this World Meeting of Families was begun by Pope John Paul II. He had a way of drawing people together, as you know, in international community. We had World Youth Day, which has been spectacularly successful, and he wanted to do the same thing for families, so he developed the World Meeting of Families. As I mentioned, it takes place in Philadelphia the last week of September next year from the 22nd to the 27th. It consists of a 4-day gathering of families, international families from around the world, and a papal visit. If the Pope didn't come, we'd probably have 10 to 15,000 people. Since he is coming, we're going to have more than 1 million. So it's really quite a difference. His presence makes a huge difference. The leadership of every World Meeting of Families belongs to the Pontifical Council for the Family, which is one of the Pope's instruments of relating to the Church. Its president, the council president, is Archbishop Vincenzo Paglia, and the vice president is with us, Bishop Jean Lafitte. And they have been enthusiastic colleagues in making the event in Philadelphia happen. Our work in Philadelphia is to prepare for next year's event at the practical and local level. We expect somewhere between 8,000 and 12,000 attendees at the Congress, which is the first 4 days of this week-long meeting. And then we expect, as I said, more than 1 million people for the papal visit part. The cost of this kind of gathering is obviously very heavy, and because of American law, the government is quite limited in the kind of direct support it can provide. This is very different from the last World Meeting of Families, which was in Milan, Italy. The government stepped in and helped a lot. But things are different in the United States, as you know. Now, the good news is that we've been blessed with some very substantial individual and corporate donations in cash and services. So this is really something that's being supported not just by the church, but by the broader community. And as is always the case, many of the gifts we've received are from people with huge, generous hearts from other religious traditions. It's been wonderful. We've had excellent cooperation from the city. You know, Philadelphia is the oldest and at one time the most important city in the United States. It's the place where the Constitution was written and the Declaration of Independence was formed. It has a wonderful history, and it's very proud of itself, and we're trying to have a wonderful experience for people who come to us from around the world. The federal authorities have been very, very helpful as well. So we're making good progress. Now, the most important part, our speakers. Our speakers are international, and our programming is going to be very creative. Each day of the meeting has multiple keynote talks, followed by at least 15 different breakout sessions on a full spectrum of themes. Our keynote speakers include Father Robert Barron, who some of you know from the videos we've seen, Cardinal Sean O'Malley, Professor Helen Alvarez, who is very much a part of this conference, Cardinal Luis Tagale from the Philippines, and Cardinal Robert Serra from Africa, who's working here at the Vatican. We'll have simultaneous translations in Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Italian, and perhaps other languages, perhaps Vietnamese. Depends on who registers for the event. So we'll add other languages as we analyze the registrations and we see what develop. The evenings will involve a week-long family fest. We'll have a lot of fun with entertainment events. The World Meeting of Families in Philadelphia comes at a critical moment in global culture. We've heard that many times this week, these days together. It will deal with a wide range of family issues where our religious faith is both needed and tested. These are matters that affect all families, not only in the United States, but on a world scale. And we want to focus next year not only on the neuralgic sexual issues that seem to dominate the American media, but on things like the family and poverty, creating real intimacy between husband and wife, the challenges of raising children, supporting the elderly and disabled, the role of grandparents, the loss of a spouse, the effect of divorce and co-parenting, health and wellness as building blocks in preserving the family, the local church community as a support community for families, and similar themes. And we want to involve the wider public in the celebration, which is why we've included Jewish, Muslim, Protestant, Latter-day Saint presenters on common issues that we all face, regardless of confessional divides. In fact, we have 24% of our presenters are from other faith traditions. So it's going to be a moment of richness like our gathering here. Last week, we officially opened registration to next year's event, so I'd encourage you all to please go to worldmeeting2015.org. I'll repeat that, worldmeeting2015.org, to register and get all the information you need about the event. And please urge others to do the same. Sometimes visas are difficult. We actually have an office that's going to help people with visas. We're not always very friendly in the United States these days about welcoming people. The site offers many different registration options, and we've tried to make the process as simple as possible. Now this is important. This next thing I'm going to say is very important. We're also offering scholarships to 2 couples from each diocese in Canada and Mexico, and 2 scholarships for each Episcopal conference in Central and South America and the Caribbean, along with 2 scholarships to each of the 22 dioceses in the United States that are very, very poor dioceses. Each couple will receive round-trip airfare for 2, lodging in Philadelphia, and registration costs, because we want to be this a gathering of the poor as well as those with means and from all over the world. So we're focusing mostly, as you see, on Latin America and on Canada because, you know, we're connected geographically and it's easier for people to get there. But we want to find ways of supporting people from all over the world so this can be a true gathering of world families, and families who are poor are very much a part of our world, and we want to make sure they're part of the voice that gathers there in Philadelphia. If we exceed our fundraising goals, we may extend and increase the scholarships, because this is about families, it's for families. But it's very ambitious, and we can't at this point make all kinds of commitments unless some of you want to come up with huge amounts of money to help make this possible. I think it's going to cost about $5,000 for each person that we bring in who can't afford to come, airfare and those kind of things. This week's colloquium has reminded us of the dignity of men and women, the beauty of their complementarity, and the importance of marriage and family to all of us. So I'll end with just a simple observation. Before I was appointed as Bishop of Philadelphia, I served as the Archbishop of Denver, Colorado. And those are some of my very happy moments in life. In America's Rocky Mountain West. As the years went by, I had the privilege of seeing many good seeds sown by World Youth Day in Denver in 1993 come to fruition and to harvest in the lives of the people that I served. That one World Youth Day event 2 decades ago changed the life of the church in America, in the Rocky Mountain region, in a fundamentally better way. And I think the same thing can happen to the world through this World Meeting of Families. So, you know, the goal is to celebrate family life and to encourage family life in a strong, refreshing, and enthusiastic way. If we put our trust in God, who loves us, and work as hard as we can with his help, then the World Meeting of Families next year can have the same profoundly renewing effect on family life, not just for the church in the United States, but for the church in the world. So, I'd like to invite you once again, and if you're not a Christian, you're especially invited. If you're not a Catholic, you're especially invited. We want your presence and your voices and your smiling faces with us. It'll be a time of joy and a moment of grace, and for Catholics and other people of goodwill. And we have great enthusiasm. So please pray for the success of our work and do everything you can to encourage the world to come to Philadelphia next September. Thank you very much, Archbishop.